Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me, and before we start I just want to make the corrections of Drogheda is in County Louth, which is north of Dublin, and it's also pronounced Drogheda, not Drogheda. I really appreciate everybody that watched the last video, and to keep up to date with what is going on, I'd appreciate it if you did watch that last video before this one, and it gives you a bit more context as to what's happening. The very brutal murder of 17-year-old Keane Woods in Drogheda was very well documented online, which is mainly the reason as to why the police know so much about it, because people were sending each other threats on social media about it, and following the murder and the beheading and the pictures and the finding of his head, a lot of information has now started to come out about the history of the gangland feud in Ireland at the moment that involved Keane Woods. And the papers are running with a story that is connected to a previous disappearance of another man. In the Daily Mail, The Sun, The Independent, The Guardian, all saying that chief suspect in Irish gangland execution of dismembered teenager previously desecrated the grave of a murdered rival's brother. The North Dubliner is suspected of hacking up Keane Woods on January the 12th. Detectives believe it is connected to a grave digging incident in 2016. Willie Morn, 35, and girlfriend Anna, 21, went missing in 2015. And as some people may remember, with Irish culture, especially with the gypsy fighting that has always been very popular, if two families have a problem, they would arrange a meeting to have a hand-to-hand fight, and usually they do a video so it sort of hypes up the fight that's about to happen, where they sort of talk disrespectfully about the person that they have a problem with. And this is how they mainly dealt with issues before, and this is also why they like to be very public about it. They're not ashamed of what they're calling out. They wanted people to know why this has happened, hence why with Keane Woods' murder they took pictures and shared them, because they wanted people to know. Detectives working on the case of Keane Woods, who was brutally murdered, said the psychotic hitman they are hunting targeted Michael Moor's grave back in 2016. Michael's brother William Moore, 35, and his pregnant girlfriend Anna disappeared in 2015. Willie was never found, but a year later, Michael's grave, his brother, was dug up. The family believe it was to try and intimidate them for appealing for Willie's remains. Willie's brother Michael had died from meningitis in 2008. The parents of William Morn believe that he was killed because he knew too much about the gang's activities, a gang he was previously associated with before changing his ways. The chief suspect in the Keane murder said a North Dubliner is believed to be a notorious enforcer and was formerly associated with mobster Owen Maguire, whose gang is suspected of participating in the grave digging, intimidation. And in the previous video I spoke on Owen Maguire, who was shot and left disabled, and that shooting was connected to Robbie Lawlor by the police, and also by recordings that they openly shared where they phone each other and they mock each other. Another guy called Cosby, who is also a suspect in this, has openly shared recordings mocking Owen Maguire online. Police told the Irish Sun that the Keane Woods murder suspect had been named as one of them involved in the grave digging incident. They said that he has been involved in many violent incidents, and he was identified as one of the people involved in the digging up of this innocent man's grave. He was part of a gang of intimidation against William Moor's family, who were just speaking up for their son. He was one of the Maguire gang's main enforcers before deciding to go it out alone and quickly turning against his former associates. In July 2018, the man is alleged to have shot Maguire in a drive-by shooting that went wrong. Neil Morn, Willie's mother, told the newspaper that the men now expressing their outrage at Mulready's killing on social media were hypocrites. She told The Sun, "I don't understand how you can call on people with information to come forward on one murder but remain silent on my son and his girlfriend's killing." It comes as Cornelius Price, a prominent figure in the feud and a known associate of Maguire, has called for reinforcements from the UK after learning that a £100,000 bounty has been put on his head. Keane Mulready-Woods is believed to have been involved in debt collecting for Cornelius Price. Price and Maguire before he was found hacked up in Drogheda. Officers have still not found Keane's torso, which is the video that I received initially. So my condolences to his family for not being able to receive his body. They believe the fatal wounds were delivered there. This is another reason as to why, is because it's hard to identify how he died if they don't have the actual body. It's another reason why they cut the fingertips off as well, so they couldn't find DNA under the fingernails. They are still planning to have a funeral for Keane as well. Associates of Cornelius Price have provided him with protection in the past, the Irish Sun reports. As tensions in Drogheda soar, there's been shooting since the death of Keane Woods as well. Cornelius Price and Maguire are both top targets for the gang members who are thought to have murdered Keane Woods as part of an ongoing turf war. They said they wanted to dump the severed limbs on Maguire's doorstep and take the head of Keane Woods to Price's house. But two men that the police believe were 24 years old are thought to have been involved, and they were spooked, they said, when they was going to deliver the head to the house of Cornelius Price. The pair dumped the boy's limbs on a housing estate in Coolock, Dublin, where they were found by children. As police descended on the area, the men attempted to dispose of the rest of the remains, including the severed head, by burning them in a car. The fire was extinguished before the remains were destroyed. A 24-year-old suspect was subsequently arrested for parole violations relating to a separate case and is being held in custody. Investigators believe that Keane was kidnapped off the streets of Drogheda overnight on January the 12th before being taken to a nearby house where he was murdered and dismembered. Forensic investigators have been at the house and have found blood-soaked floorboards and a stash of machetes at the property. Officers have still not found his body. Hours after Keane vanished, a shooting of a taxi driver that I spoke about briefly in the last video as well. And as the police said, this feud stems from the death of Keith Brannigan in August last year on a caravan site, and also the murder of Richie Carberry. And this is all playing off in the background of other gang wars that are going on in Ireland at the moment. Cornelius Price, the feared gangland boss that they claimed that Keane worked for before, he was released from prison in May 2018. Even back then, the Irish Sun said that he was part of a lethal feud in County Louth. He returned home on Monday night in May and then actually left the country. He went to Bulgaria and other parts of the UK for a considerable amount of time. The Irish police put a warning, a high alert across the County Louth and County Meath areas upon the release of Cornelius Price, exactly what they did when Robbie Lawlor was released as well. The Irish paper says that Price is back now, and this isn't good news. He's a volatile criminal with a fierce reputation for violence. There has been a period of calm since he has been away, but the concern is that things could escalate now he's back in Ireland. And this is going back to 2018 as well, so they knew that there was potentially a chance of escalations of violence. They even said that Cornelius Price should be banned from the actual area of Drogheda. So as I said, there's a lot of stuff that's been released. Not everything I think is appropriate to put out just yet, but I'm definitely going to keep following this story and I'll keep you updated if there is any more arrests, if anyone's charged, and of course with the case that's pending. So really appreciate you joining me. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow us online at Scarcity Studios. I'll be back again very shortly with some music and street news. Peace.